London, the year is 1837. Most people think of Silicon Valley, but the true story begins in 1837 in London. With Charles Babbage, the man who designed the Analytical Engine. It was not a digital screen, but a colossal machine of gears and steam. But first, let us go back to the Stone Age to understand human development. Two and a half million years ago, East Africa, the cradle of humanity, is a beautiful, yet cruel arena. Our ancestors, Homo habilis had learned to walk upright, yet they remained trapped within a biological cage. Their teeth were not sharp enough to pierce thick skin. Their nails were not strong enough to break bone. In a world dominated by predators, we were vulnerable, waiting for the scraps left behind by giants. We were completely at the mercy of the wolves and many other predators. But we learned to live with the elemental forces of nature. Lightning struck the trees. That is how the fire started. Lightning struck the trees. That is how the fire started. We learned to make clothes. From then on, we were able to protect ourselves from the cold winter. We learned to paint the walls with red earth, something that still tells us stories about the Stone Age today. When the first humans settled down, their world changed fundamentally. Small fields grew into villages, villages became communities, and with every generation, knowledge about nature, tools, and organization increased. Early civilizations began to manage supplies, plan trade routes, and handle increasingly complex tasks. But as societies grew, it became harder to keep all this information in mind. Administration, trade, taxes, construction plans, everything demanded new methods to bring order into an expanding world. Over thousands of years, people developed tools to understand and control numbers, tally sticks, the abacus, and mechanical counting devices. But all these tools had limits. It was not until the 19th century that a completely new idea began to take shape, the idea that machines could not only calculate, but also think in simple steps. During this time, the British mathematician Charles Babbage worked on a massive machine made of gears, shafts, and brass components, the difference engine. It was designed to perform calculations automatically, faster and more accurately than any human. And while Babbage worked on the heavy metal parts, he met a young woman who would change his work forever, Ada Lovelace. Ada recognized something far ahead of her time. For her, Babbage's machine was not just a calculating device. She saw it as a system that could be fed with instructions, step by step, like a language. She wrote the first algorithms in history and became the world's first programmer. What existed only on paper back then would later become the foundation of modern computing. From the first fields of early settlers to the steaming machines of the Victorian era, the path was long. But the decisive step was always the same: the desire to understand the world better, to organize it, and to shape it. And this desire eventually led humanity to the digital revolution. Today, in a world full of microprocessors, networks, and artificial intelligence, the first step seems small and distant. But without the early civilizations, without Babbage, without Ada Lovelace, there would be no computers, no programs, and no modern world as we know it. Charles Babbage, the man who designed the Analytical Engine. It was not a digital screen, but a colossal machine of gears and steam. It was the world's first design for a programmable computer. Babbage's design was revolutionary because it possessed the same four components that every modern PC has today. An entrance, a processor, a the millicessor, a memory and an output. But a machine needs instructions. This is where Ada Lovelace comes in. She was the first to recognize that this machine could master more than just mathematics. She wrote the first algorithm for a machine, thereby becoming the world's first programmer. She saw a future in which machines could create music and art. Ada Lovelace was the daughter of a poet. She was born in 1815 as the daughter of the famous poet Lord Byron. And he had them strictly trained in mathematics and the natural sciences. At the age of 17, she met the mathematician Charles Babbage. He was working on the difference engine, a massive calculating machine. Charles Babbage was born on December 26, 1791. Historical records vary regarding his exact birthplace, but Walworth, London, in the county of Surrey, is the most probable location. As Babbage worked on his analytical engine, he sought a way to instruct the machine what to calculate without having to manually rearrange the gears each time. He observed the Jacquard loom and realized, if holes in cardboard could be used to control looms, they could also be used to control mathematical instructions. He adopted the system and designed 3 different types of cards for his computer. One, variable cards, to enter the numbers, data. 2. Operation cards, to tell the machine whether to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. 3. Combinatorial cards, to control complex processes and repetitions, loops. Using punched cards, Babbage, for the first time in history, separated the hardware, the machine's gears, from the software, the instructions on the cards. One did not have to rebuild the machine to solve a new problem. One simply had to insert a new stack of punched cards. Ada Lovelace described it perfectly at the time. The analytical engine weaves algebraic patterns, just as the Jacquard loom weaves flowers and leaves. This technique remained the standard for feeding computers until the 1970s. Babbage had thus established the principle of data input for the next 150 years. We have entered a new era. Generative AI like ChatGPT has transformed our relationship with technology. The computer is no longer merely a tool, it is a partner. It processes billions of data points in seconds to help us solve the world's most complex problems. The mechanical mind of 1837 has finally evolved into a digital intelligence. In the structure of this modern circuit board, the legacy of Charles Babbage and Ada Lovelace lives on. From Babbage's first design for a calculating machine to Lovelace's first algorithm. We have entered an era where life is simply inconceivable, or even impossible, without computers and AI. What else will become possible thanks to AI? How will space exploration, or deep-sea exploration, be enhanced by artificial intelligence? It is certainly going to be interesting. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time. From the very first computer to today's AI, it has been a long road, and the best is yet to come. Where do you think technology will take us next? Let me know in the comments. Do you believe AI will enrich or endanger our society? Write it in the comments. Thanks for watching.